It is Saturday night, April the 5th, 2014. And once again, the eyes of the wrestling world are here on New Orleans, Louisiana, and on the World Wrestling Network as Dragon Gate USA presents Mercury Rising 2014. And traditionally, this is the event where we have the annual Dragon Gate six-man matchup. A little bit of a twist this year as we go with the tournament format. 6 teams of 3 men, each fighting to be victorious in the end this evening. And what an action-packed first matchup we are sure to have here tonight. A star-studded event, to be sure. You look at the talent standing in the ring here. Former world champion Roderick Strong, former ECW world champion Masato Tanaka and Chris Hero on one side, the Evolve champion. The first ever Evolve champion, AR Fox, Rich Swann, and the only man to ever hold the Open the Freedom Gate and Open the Dream Gate titles at the same time, King Ricochet. On the other side of the ring, Bryce Remsburg calls for the opening bell. We are underway, and this is, as always, Lenny Leonard joined by the hardcore giant Ron Nemi.
What an incredible match to open up this tournament, Lenny Leonard. You're talking about dream teams. Chris Hero, Masato, Tanaka, and Roderick Strong on the same team. Are you kidding me?
Has there ever been a team with 3 guys on it that hit harder than the 3 on that side of the ring? I do not want to be AR Fox, Rich Swann, or Ricochet for all the money in the world. And Ricochet coming into tonight off of last night's stirring victory at Open the Ultimate Gate. 30-plus minutes, defeating Johnny Gargano and becoming the Open the Freedom Gate champion. A year-long quest culminated in one of the biggest victories of his life, and a crushing defeat ending Johnny Gargano's 873-day-plus reign as Open the Freedom Gate champion. And we'll see Johnny Gargano later on tonight in action. Right now, it's champion against champion. Ricochet and Chris Hero.
The wrestling world buzzing on that huge title victory last night for Ricochet, and an incredible 5-star match that, truthfully, live was something like I've never seen before, Lenny. Everybody going crazy, and the truth is Ricochet is so well-deserving of a heavyweight champion. The fact that he chased that title for over a year, never letting it drive him crazy, but driving him to lengths. Again, never seen before in this business. You got to tip your hat to Ricochet.
Roderick Strong in, and Ricochet makes the tag. In comes Rich Swann, and a bit of a twist here. And those of you who follow the World Wrestling Network may not be familiar with the sister promotion on this very network, Full Impact Pro, from the state of Florida, where Roderick Strong and Rich Swann are the current FIP World Tag Team Champions. And they find themselves on opposite sides of the ring here, and Rich Swann is electric. Hey, yo.
And while they may be FIP World Tag Team Champions, Lenny, Roderick Strong, Rich Swann, not exactly what I'd call friends. Not the most cohesive of tag teams, but an unbelievable tag team nonetheless.
And AR Fox staring through Roderick Strong. I think he wanted Chris Hero, but he's going to get Masato Tanaka. And Ricochet and Swann smartly go down to the floor in case Fox tried to tag them.
You see the look on the face of AR Fox. AR Fox, though, is tough as nails. A little rattled right now with the current situation, but if anybody can hang with Masato Tanaka, you know it's AR Fox.
And AR Foxy a huge ECW fan growing up. He knows full well what Masato Tanaka is capable of, and we talked about it last night during the broadcast of Chris Hero's matchup against Masato Tanaka, in which they had an epic encounter themselves. The wars Tanaka's been in pro wrestling, not just in ECW, but in Japan. In the best shape of his life, now in his early 40s. And A.R. Fox is as athletic as it gets. In fact, we talked about how hard-hitting the team of Tanaka, Strong, and Hero are as a group. I don't think you'll find a more athletic threesome anywhere in the world than Ricochet, Swann, and A.R. Fox.
The three-way aerial assault that team could launch at any given time just sends chills up my spine. Oh my God! Vicious forearm. Masato Tanaka knocking A.R. Fox silly and starts putting the boots to him for his troubles.
Well, that's one way to stop anybody's aerial assault. You just smack him in the mouth like that as hard as you possibly can.
Vicious.
And now Tanaka in the wrong corner. Here comes Ricochet. And drags Tanaka back to his feet. European uppercut, but it's Tanaka responding with a chop. Ricochet and Rich Swann were once part of the King of Chop tournament in Dragon Gate in Japan. And they know full well what it's like to be hit repeatedly. Bryce Remsburg doesn't want the tag either, and I've always said Bryce is the smartest referee I've ever been around.
Tanaka with the single leg, taking A.R. Fox off his feet. Consummate professional and a wily veteran, knowing A.R. Fox can do a hell of a lot less damage while on the mat than flying through the air, and Chris Hero goes to work.
And Hero and Fox renewing their acquaintances. Of course, it was A.R. Fox, the first man to ever hold the Evolve Championship, held that belt for just about a year before Chris Hero took it away from him in New York City, trying to suplex one another, and we've got 5. Make it all 6 men in the ring. Triple suplexes by Hero, Strong, and Tanaka. Fox and Hero still the legal men. Great height on that senton by Hero. Only 2.
What a weekend this has been so far, Lenny. Just one unbelievable show after another. This, you can guarantee tonight's going to be just as good, if not better. The possibilities are endless. Again, you're basically getting an independent dream 6-man match right here. I was thrilled to see Roderick Strong, Masato Tanaka, and Hero. The fact that they'd even be in the ring at the same time, let alone teaming up, is just unbelievable.
Oh, what a combination by Swann and Ricochet. The Inner City Machine Guns, as they were known once upon a time. Although I don't know what kind of an inner city Paducah, Kentucky has. That's where Ricochet's from, but that's neither here nor there. It's a cool sounding name. Let's go with it. Hero traps the leg and not looking good for Ricochet, who may be out. Folding press. Only 2. Double team by Hero and Tanaka. Quick cover and a near fall. And Bryce Remsburg is certainly going to have his hands full in this matchup with 6 athletes. As will Brandon Tolley a little bit later on.
just thinking about the problems as far as timing and spacing as the referee in a match like this. Everywhere is dangerous. You have no idea where these guys' directions, angles, speed. Working a breakneck pace. Roderick strong, lighten up. Ricochet with a chop. Fires back a receipt of his own, but Roderick strong, putting the boots to Ricochet, who's become somewhat of a belt collector in here, Dragon Gate USA, as well as overseas in Japan with Dragon Gate.
Yeah, when Ricochet first made his way to Dragon Gate in Japan, he had the most successful first year of any foreign talent in that company's history. 3 championships in his first year there, and he followed it up with even bigger and better things, obviously, since then. Now the top man for Dragon Gate, both in Japan and here in the U.S. And he makes the tag to Swann after connecting with Heroes down on a knee. And the consummate entertainer, Rich Swann, looking to suplex the big man, but he has given up a great deal of size. It's the largest and the smallest men in this matchup. And Hero able to place Swann up on the top turnbuckle. Measures him for that forearm. Traps his head with the cravat. Was looking for that cravat superplex, but Swann had it scouted. Unfortunately, he didn't have that scouted. The giant foot of Chris Hero right into the face of Rich Swann for a near fall. And here comes Roderick Strong putting the boots to Swann. Hey, buddy. Hey, partner. Hey, champ. How are you?
Yeah, with friends like that, who in the hell needs enemies, Lenny? Roderick Strong putting it on Rich Swann. Little help from his friend Masato Tanaka. Strong punishing Rich Swann. In comes the Japanese hardcore legend Masato Tanaka. Tell you what, I'm still again amazed at that match with him and Chris Hero last night. A technical masterpiece. It's like 2 artists going to work.
And now he's tying up Rich Swann like a pretzel here. Ricochet and Fox had thoughts of making the save, and Strong and Hero said no thank you, yanking them off the apron, and now Strong putting the boots to Ricochet on the outside. While Tanaka turns his attention back to Rich Swann here, who's trying to fight. Oh, check that. Guess it was AR Fox that Strong was putting the boots to. A little tough to see who was on which side of the ring from this vantage point, but nonetheless, Roderick Strong was stomping a moat hole on somebody.
Did you hear the impact of that chop? Tearing at the chest of Rich Swann. Roderick Strong always works such an incredibly physical style, which I just love. Vicious backbreaker, bending Swann in half.
Oh, what a drop kick from Hero. As Strong held Swann in position. AR Fox says that's illegal in New Orleans as Chris Hero drops the knee pad. Well, I know it's not exactly a pile driver, but
Hero with the pinfall combination. Little surprise going for it that early. Got to keep Swann on his toes. Roderick Strong doing what he does best, which is beating somebody up. Referee prevented Roderick Strong from chopping Rich Swann. Masato Tanaka decides to give him one for his troubles anyway. Rich Swann in terrible spot right now outside the ring. Roderick picks him up and dumps him out like yesterday's trash back into the ring for his partner Chris Hero to go back to work. Kind of mockingly kicks at the head of Rich Swann. Not much impact behind it.
Oh, another elbow from Hero to Ricochet as he knocks the champ down to the floor. And he goes right back to Swann. Submission predicament here for Swann. And I don't see Fox and Ricochet in too much of a hurry to try and make the save this time after what happened the last time they looked like they were gonna. Ricochet trying to fire the crowd up. Trying to push the ropes a little closer to Rich Swann to help his partner break it up, but stopped there by referee Bryce Remsburg. Always Johnny on the spot. Or Bryce on the spot, as it were.
Yeah, it's his brother Johnny. Hero knocking Fox off the ring apron. And it's Fox and Swann having a little trouble as a team so far tonight. Nope. Chris Hero hopefully not even thinking about a pile driver.
You know, I think if I was faced with the pile driver or Roderick Strong chopping me, I might take the pile driver.
I think I know I would take the pile driver. It's not me that's worried about the pile driver. It's Louisiana State Athletic Commissioner, your good friend Elmo, I'm sorry.
Elmo Boudreaux.
No disrespect, Elmo. I apologize, sir.
The Right Honorable Elmo Boudreaux, Deputy Commissioner, Louisiana Boxing Commission. Step up enziguri by Swann. Reverse Hurricane Rana. Drops his partner on his dome. And in comes AR Fox after the tag. Senton. Hero elevated. Enziguri. One-legged drop kick. Springboard missile drop kick sends Strong into the corner. Fox takes flight. Up and over. Springboard splash. No.
AR Fox doing what he does best. An offensive explosion. The fans here at the McAlister Auditorium going crazy.
When AR Fox tags in the match, it's like putting something in a microwave. It doesn't take long to heat up. But Roderick Strong put a stop to that flurry with what he does better than anybody in the wrestling business today, and that is decimate an opponent's back.
The Messiah, the backbreaker, Roderick Strong, has more ways to give a backbreaker than imaginable. The fans letting the competitors know what they think. Traveling in from all around the world for this huge weekend. It's been a virtual smorgasbord of wrestling action for 3 straight days, Lenny.
Well, we've been here for all of it. And it's still going. And it's just getting started at the same time. Elbow from Tanaka. Another one down on the chest. 2 count only. Tanaka taking issue with that 2 count before turning his attention back to putting the boots on AR Fox. Has him up, suplex attempt. Right into a cover. Again, 2 count only as Ricochet once again trying to rally the troops here.
Ricochet chomping at the bit to get in the ring. The fresh man ready to go. Tanaka stretching AR Fox, trying to bend his arms completely behind him. Fox fighting back.
Looks like he had the momentum for a second there, but Tanaka was able to follow through and turn him completely around, and now Hero in, and a defenseless AR Fox. May have lost a couple of chiclets right there. And then again, stares down Ricochet before the cover, and again, only 2. Looking for that Dragon Sleeper, but Ricochet alerting Bryce Remsburg to the fact that AR Fox immediately made it to the corner to force the break. Fox on the outside of the ring. Oh! He come down in a heap. And then Roderick Strong out there as well. Telling Bryce Remsburg to get Ricochet back in his corner, which in turn allows Roderick Strong to nicely put AR Fox back inside the ring.
Nice of Roderick to direct traffic out there, just so everybody knows their place. Roderick Strong never one known to play nice with others. Really good to see him back here in Dragon Gate, USA. Putting the boots to AR Fox, who's in all kinds of trouble right now in the corner of his opponents. Taking a beating from Roderick Strong.
Trying to fight back here, but Strong getting in his face. Here comes Fox. And I don't know if Fox wants to trade with Roderick Strong here. Rolling elbow. A foot in the mush. Nothing fancy about that. Roderick Strong looks like a tank. He is just going to roll through you no matter what you do. Big boot sends Fox to the outside again. And Strong getting in the face of his opponents. For a snapping Fox throat first over the bottom rope. Chris Hero just standing over him while Tanaka in.
Ricochet was doing absolutely no favors. Once again, drawing the attention of the referee, enabling the opposition to go to work on his partner. Ricochet, as the champion, knows better. A little surprised.
Tanaka and fans, I know it may not bear repeating, but just better safe than sorry, because I know with the Bravado is now holding the United Gate Tag Team titles, they have made no bones of the fact that they will not defend those belts under normal Dragon Gate Tag Team rules. This Trios tournament is being held under the Dragon Gate 6-man rules, which are tags are not necessary. If your partner leaves the ring, goes out to the floor, you are able to switch, and it's as if a tag was made. So it's a virtual tag. You may tag if you want, but you don't have to if your partner leaves the ring. And there is generally a looser interpretation of the rules regarding double teams as well. And in this case, triple teams, in the case of a trios tournament. So you may see Bryce Remsburg allowing a little bit more latitude than you might normally expect in a tag team match when partners are in the ring at the same time. That's the reason. It's a staple of the Dragon Gate 6-man tag team match in Japan that we've seen so often over the years, especially during this time of the year. And here's a perfect example is all three members of Hero's team in the ring. Double team on Fox. Springboard into the double ace crusher. Can he make the tag or get out of the ring, allowing Ricochet to come in? He does. And Ricochet lighting up Hero here, but it's Strong from behind. Two for one. Full Nelson, boot to the face. Neckbreaker DDT. Strong out to the floor. And Ricochet hearing it from the fans here. Trying to muscle up Hero. Looking for that Regal Plex. Hero blocks. But Ricochet lands on his feet. Rolling elbow, no. Ace crusher. Shooting star press. He catches him in the cravat. What a counter by Hero. Cravat suplex. Tanaka in. Freight train lariat. Foot to the face. Ducking clothesline, standing switch. DDT! My God, it was lightning quick!
Masato Tanaka nearly taking the victory in this huge match. Vicious DDT. Ricochet in trouble. Has the presence of mind to kick out of the pinfall. But Tanaka still in control, delivering a wicked forearm right to the face of Ricochet, who's up and over.
And there's the tag. In comes Fox. Swanton, but Tanaka rolls out of the way, cuts him off with the elbow, and comes strong now after the tag. And Fox seems to have no idea where he is. What a knee strike. Forearm. Went for the Uranagi backbreaker, countered into a crucifix for 2.5. Foot up by Fox. Backbreaker. 2.5. Even Hero couldn't believe it on the outside.
Roderick Strong, so dangerous, Lenny.
Twister. Cover. That twisting brainbuster made famous by Masaki Mochizuki. Good for a near fall. Straight up right hands out of Baltimore. As the FIP Tag Team Champs were new acquaintances. Backbreaker. In comes Hero.
Release suplex by Chris Hero.
So close. Fans getting behind Swann here. Hero's got him up. Swann lays down in the corner, rolling elbow on Tanaka. But he turned his back on Hero. Big mistake. He's out. But Ricochet breaks it up. Ricochet and Strong squaring off. Jumping knee. Elbow. Boot from Hero. Down goes Ricochet. Super kick. Pipasso. Drop kick from Ricochet. Jumping knee from Strong. Matrix. Enziguri from AR Fox. Rolling elbow from Tanaka. 360 Enziguri from Swann. Swann digging down. Hero can't believe it. Enziguri. Rolling elbow. Fox is way up. Lands on his feet. Super kick. Rolling cradle. He got it. What a battle between these 6 athletes that we witnessed to open the show here tonight. And the crowd here at the McAlister Auditorium are telling the story. What an opener. And fans, we are just getting started here. Once again, your winners, AR Fox, Ricochet, and Swann.
And this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the Kentucky gentleman, Chuck Taylor.
Maxwell, Chicago. Snapchat DGUSA, he says.
You can check him out on Snapchat at Henry X Maxwell.
Well, if anybody can do it, it's him.
So far,
the hell is he going?
Crawfest 2014.
What you do is you pull it out me and it's up. No? No good? Well, a lot of people don't like money, so maybe we just have a match. Maybe we just have a match. Maybe get rid of this because I don't want somebody to fall in the wrong dish. All right, here we go. Who do I give this to? Mr. Maxwell!
Chuck Taylor not in a jocular mood here this evening.
Match number 1 for all, the Kentucky German Chuck Taylor versus Maxwell Chicago.
Mexican roll by Maxwell Chicago. Look at Chucky. Chucky's depressed. Lethargic against the ropes.
Yeah, he looks like somebody shot his dog. You know what would cheer him up? They have like those therapy pets. Maybe you should hang out with Teddy Hart's cat.
I think that would be good. Look.
Mr. Moneybags would cheer him up, I bet. He looks like Orange Cassidy now.
You just needed a hug, Lenny.
Don't we all?
I know I do.
Get away from me. Little tough love there. Well, I guess Chuck Taylor's got a match whether he wants to win or not now. Someone's going to have to explain to him how to do it first, I think.
Oh, the other 4 moves that he knows how to do to perfection, Lenny. Reversal!
Max able to escape. Face first to the buckle. Reversal of the whip. Taylor set for the ride. Gets the elbow up. Down goes Maxwell. Lands on his feet after the moonsault. Uh-oh. He says he's got him on the ropes. Taylor feigning injury. Small package. No. Max going to the midsection.
Showing that incredible upper body strength, driving his opponent into the corner.
High risk maneuver here.
Frankensteiner.
The aerial stuff, not exactly his forte.
Calls the Frankensteiner. Seems to have a little difficulty figuring it out.
I don't know that he knows how to do this one either.
Gingerly lifting Chuck onto the ropes, who's standing there confused.
Much like myself. Well, Max is kind of afraid of heights, so.
It seems that way.
Chuck's going to give him a boost, I think.
Unbelievable!
Wait a second. The Premier Athlete brand has hit the ring.
Too much high flying for their liking, Lenny.
Caleb Konley, Mr. A, Anthony Nese, and Trent Barreta, along with Secretary Sue. Just decimated Maxwell, Chicago.
Mr. A seeming to be back in good graces with the Premier Athlete brand.
Well, I hate to say it, but she's right. I mean, the Maxwell Chicago thing was fun while it lasted, but the Gentlemen's Club was signed as a trios to take on the Premier Athlete brand. And since there is no more Gentlemen's Club, either Chuck Taylor is going to fight 1-on-3, Caleb Konley now chopping away. Whistle drop kick by Taylor.
Might be time for a membership drive for the Gentlemen's Club, Lenny. 1-on-3. Against a team like the Premier Athlete brand.
Anthony Nese directed traffic, telling Caleb Konley to get back up, and now it's double team on Taylor. Trent Barreta just standing on the floor watching, as is Mr. A up and over the top. Overhead belly to belly. As Nese crashes into Konley, here comes Barreta.
Could honestly say this is more like 5-on-1. Not liking the odds here for Chuck.
They seem to be conflicted.
Chucky wanted to hug it out. Come on, Trent.
No secret these two are friends, but this is business.
Look at the face, though. How could you possibly turn the guy down?
Well, looks like Anthony Nese and Caleb Konley just saved Trent Barreta from a decision he clearly didn't want to make. Now it's Konley and Taylor. 2 count only. There's the tag. In comes Nese. Right to the gut of Taylor. You got to think, as talented as Chuck Taylor is, it's just a matter of time having to go 1-on-3 here.
Put up a hell of a fight, though, Lenny. If anybody can do it, it's Chuck Taylor. But again, like you said, 3-on-1. You factor in Sue Young and Mr. A at ringside, you got 5-on-1.
Bad timing there by Nese and Konley, and Taylor looks to take advantage. Big boot from Nese. And Konley. Cover. No.
2.5. Chucky's still living the fight. Back in the corner, lit up by Nese. Physical specimen if I've ever seen one. Ultra talented Anthony Nese.
Konley back in. Oh, vicious double Irish whip right there. Busick has just jumped up on the apron. Taylor with super kicks. It looks like Biff Busick is going to be Chuck Taylor's partner here. And he is immediately jumping on Trent Barreta here. Up and over. European uppercut on Nese. Drills Konley.
Looking and sounding like a man-possessed Busick. House of Fire.
Blockbuster DDT. For an ear fall.
Odds still not in the favor of Chucky, but they're a hell of a lot better 2-3 than they were 1-3. Busick installing himself in this match, much like Nese did last night, seizing an opportunity.
And I think the last thing Trent Barreta wanted tonight was to get chopped by anybody after fighting low-key last night.
Oh, his chest still like hamburger. But like you said, taking on low-key last night and getting one of the biggest wins right in the middle of the ring of his career, beating low-key, who put on an outstanding performance, but not enough to take out Trent Barreta.
Taylor from behind evening out the odds here. Now they've got Konley up in a precarious position. And Busick's going to go all the way up now. Busick now getting worked over much the way Taylor was.
If things weren't interesting enough already, Lenny, here we go.
Teddy Hart, Larry Dallas, two hot chicks and Mr. Moneybags.
Mr. Moneybags, the high-flying Mr. Moneybags. And those are hot chicks. God, Lenny.
And apparently, I don't know if he's coming out here to be on the side of Chuck Taylor and Biff Busick. And he's going after the Premier Athlete brand. Clothesline. Clothesline on Konley. Torture rack backbreaker. Teddy Hart is cleaning house here. Knee for Barreta. What a pile driver-like maneuver right there.
One of the most unorthodox tag teams in history. Teddy Hart, Busick, and Chucky Taylor. Here we go, Eddie. Mr. Moneybags. To the top rope.
You know, that cat's more of a dog than you'd think.
That's what I hear. What the hell is going on, Lenny?
Oh! Low blow. Teddy Hart's just wiping out everybody. Jesus! Teddy Hart is insane.
That is not the first time I have heard those words spoken, Lenny. It's like Diary of a Madman listening to Teddy Hart speak. With the demented Larry Dallas in his corner, responsible for bringing Teddy Hart to Dragon Gate USA.
Apparently, the Premier Athlete brand are moving on to the finals.
Somewhere a few minutes ago, we entered the twilight zone of professional wrestling, Lenny, because I have absolutely no idea what in the hell just happened in that entire match. If Chucky Taylor wasn't depressed before, I guarantee you he sure as hell is now.
Well, the Premier Athlete brand picking up the victory and moving on to the finals later on tonight, where so far it'll be them against Ricochet, Chris Hero. Chris Hero. This got me all confused too. Ricochet, AR Fox, and Rich Swann. Teddy Hart is just a disruptive force.
This is the next match. It's a trios tournament match, go for one fall. Your referee is Masato.
We're just hoping Bryce can restore a little law and order here.
We might need to restore martial law after that last match. Things are out of control.
The perfect 10, Lince Dorado, Green and Fireman of Konley.
Cats like to play with string.
They definitely do.
And your opponents.
Well, this one is going to be a battle of speed and quickness against brains and brawn. As the Bravados, the Open the United Gate Tag Team Champs, and the enormous, massive number 76 Moose.
Like you said, Lenny, he is the entire offensive line.
And we are underway here quickly. The Bravados get the jump on the Colony. Green Ant, Fire Ant, firing away. Reversal by the Bravados. Duck of the clothesline into the ropes. Stereo drop kicks. Here comes Moose. Double shoulder tackle. Lince, Dorado making a mistake.
A little bit of a size difference in there right now, Lenny. Moose with the advantage.
Well, it's a good thing cats have 9 lives. Lince may need all of them.
He might. Look at him being manhandled and thrown into the corner.
I'd like to see Lince and Mr. Moneybags challenge for the tag team titles.
That would be something else.
Got a couple of cats. Actually, I heard after the show, Lince and Mr. Moneybags are going down to Bourbon Street and hitting the catnip.
Nice.
And maybe a couple of cat houses.
You're on fire, Lenny.
No, that's Fire Ant.
Oh, sorry. Again, a little confused after the...
He's the hot property.
Teddy Hart madness from moments ago.
Belly to back suplex. 1.5, we'll call it 2. Tries to go through the legs of Harlem Bravado, who makes the tag. In comes Moose. 8 years protecting the quarterbacks in the NFL. Grandma Bravado now has him protecting her baby boys. The Open the United Gate Tag Team Champs. Of course, the Young Bucks still watching on, currently in Japan after their suspension. The lawsuit after the Tombstone piledriver on the floor in Jacksonville as part of the Evolve weekend earlier this year in January. The issue between those two teams, I'm sure, is far from over as Dorado makes the tag and comes Green Hand. Elevated, lands on the apron, blocks that right hand, and Zagiri. That one rocked Harlem. Double springboard DDT, Fire Ant likes it on the outside, but only 2.
A little surprised at the trouble that the Bravado brothers are in this match. Love the Colony, great tag team, but the Bravados have been so dominant as of late, and I've made it very clear on several occasions, as far as I'm concerned, the best tag team in the world right now. But the Colony working wonderfully as a team, taking it to the Bravado brothers. And as you mentioned, those tag titles not on the line, Lenny.
Cover there by Fire Ant for near fall. Moose in. And that clubbing blow right across the chest. Look at the power.
Crushing them in the corner, Fire Ant. Feeling the full effect of the monstrous Moose.
Look at those cross faces.
Taking a beating.
Lancelot Bravado just viciously cross-facing. Fire Ant for slowing things down with that side headlock. And my God, look at Moose standing up on the apron. I can't even see around him. He's like a walking eclipse. Well-placed knee to the midsection. And the Bravado bandwagon chanting for Moose. I'm sure Firehead wishes they were chanting for just about anybody except for Moose right now.
Look at the size of this guy. Hate to beat a dead horse, but again, he's a monster. You see him here at this awesome auditorium in the theater, like setting his back is big enough you could show a screening of Titanic on it.
The dead horse ever do to you?
I'd rather not talk about it, Lenny. It was a painful time in my life.
It's a painful time in Firehand's life right now, too. As Lince Dorado trying to make the save and help his partner out, but instead draws the attention of Bryce Remsburg away, allowing the Bravados and Moose to continue to work over the hot property. Another near fall. Rolling cradle. 2 count only. Boot right to the back as Harlem Bravado right back to his feet.
Referee being once again distracted by the Konley, doing their partner no favor whatsoever. You're in the ring with someone like the Bravado brothers. You don't give them any opportunity more than you should at any given moment. They're going to do the best they can to pick you apart, and they're going to beat the hell out of you. You do the best you can to survive and earn that victory. But they don't need any favors, Lenny. Let's be honest.
Another near fall there as Lince Dorado breaks that one up. And the Bravado bandwagon starts up again. Another tag between the brothers Bravado. Firehand trying to fight his way out of the corner. He's in the wrong part of town here. Taking on 3 guys here. Oh, Moose just caught his hand like a small child and then headbutted him right between the antennae. Do you ever wonder why the plural of antenna is still antenna?
I was just wondering that the other day. But I was just sitting here contemplating that I've never considered the fact in a battle between a moose and an ant that an ant would have any chance whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant or beat a moose.
Bring up a very good point, Lenny.
That's why they pay me, bro.
The big money.
If you say so. There's the tag. The perfect 10, Lince Dorado up to the top. Hurricanrana. Running chop in the corner. Versatile the whip, puts on the brakes. Waits for Harlem, back kick. Up to the top again. Beautiful moonsault body block for 2 till Lancelot saves his brother. Double team. Handspring elbows and a kip up by Lince. In comes Greenhand. Firehand as well. Stereo dives by the ants. Moose out to the outside. Here comes Lince. They caught him like a kitten. Pressed him into the ring. The cats do land on their feet. And ants apparently land on Moose. It's like a National Geographic special.
Huge springboard moonsault. Lince Dorado.
This match is brought to you by Jack Hanna. Should get him to call this. Lince up to the top here. Harlem, no idea where he is. Huge cross body. No.
Dorado biting him.
But now that I think of it, the plural of moose is also moose.
The moose is loose. I thought it was, you know what it is, you're right, I've always thought it was Mises.
Oh, there may be two Lince Dorados, because he just broke him in half. We only got two. Fire ant out to the floor, and then one step ahead of Moose there. Reversal whip. Lancelot into the corner.
Moose looking like his goose is cooked after that, and as you know, Lenny, the plural of goose is goose.
No, it's geese.
Oh, my apologies.
This is like a Dr. Seuss book. Oh, running knee strike. Frog splash. Cover. No. Trying to tie him up here. Look at the Jakara special. Oh, knockout kick. Lince up and over the top. O'Connor roll blocked. Reverse Hurricane Rana. Ducks the clothesline. Spear. Fire ant to the top. Knocks Moose backwards. Super kick on the jaw. Able to avoid him. Up and over the top goes Moose. Here comes Hart. Lancelot Bravado with the clothesline. That one blocked. German suplex blocked. Michinoku driver. Shakar special. It's over. Huge victory here for the Colony. And Lince Dorado as they move on to the finals later on tonight. Wow, the weekend of May 9th and 10th in New York City. The Colony against the Bravados for the Open United Gate titles in New York City. It's quite a turn of events here.
But that brings us to our next piece of business.
Well, fans, it looks like it's going to be the Open the United Gate Tag Team Champions of the Bravado Brothers taking on Daniels and Kazarian. Bad influence after the show goes off the air here. And fans, at this time, we're going to take our intermission. We'll be back with the second half in just a little bit. We are back, starting off the second half in a big way. The Shine Wrestling Championship on the line in a rematch from a spirited contest in Ybor City, Florida, back as part of Shine 17. In fact, that was the first ever defense of the newly won Shine Championship by Ivelisse, victorious over the Latina sensation Mercedes Martinez. It was Valkyrie attacking Ivelisse after the match. Mercedes coming back to aid her fellow Puerto Rican athlete and run off Ivelisse's former stablemates. And the two shook hands in a great sign of respect between these two tremendous athletes. And Ivelisse trying to cap off a very successful weekend here at the World Wrestling Network Experience. Already a successful defense of her Shine title this weekend as part of a Wrestling Odyssey yesterday afternoon. A successful Shimmer Women debut earlier today as she picked up a victory in a non-title matchup, and now here tonight trying to cap it off with another victory and a successful defense against Mercedes Martinez. But as she did in her first attempt at defending the title against Mercedes, she is definitely going to have her hands full here tonight.
Anytime you get in the ring with a ring veteran like Mercedes Martinez, you're going to have your hands full. And Mercedes knows that the most coveted prize in women's professional wrestling right now is that Shine Championship, currently held by Ivelisse. Mercedes comes in, I'm sure, with a very strict game plan of what she plans on getting done tonight. But the end result, I can guarantee you, is she is going to do whatever it takes to walk out of here as the Shine Champion.
And there may be a healthy respect between these two women, a very strong sense of Latina pride that they both share with one another. But at the end of the day, it's about putting food on your table and putting money in the bank. And that Shine Championship is going to mean more of both of those things for either one of these women. And we've seen in the past Ivelisse, when she was part of Valkyrie, while she is a tremendously skilled athlete, certainly not afraid at all to take a shortcut to earn a victory. And Mercedes Martinez, of course, trained by Jazz and by Jason Knight over a decade ago back in Connecticut. She came from the mean streets of Connecticut. She is not at all afraid of bending and breaking the rules should the opportunity present itself. But I think at least in the early going right here, we're going to see a pretty cleanly fought matchup between these two ladies here. I think you may see a little bit of a different match once tempers start to flare or somebody decides to take that first shortcut.
You just hit the nail on the head when you're speaking of tempers with these two young ladies, these athletes. They both have a mean streak that goes a mile long, and that's all it's going to take. Just a little something not quite going their way, and you're probably going to see the first hint of those tempers. Mercedes Martinez going under the strict tutelage of Jazz. And like you said, the world's sexiest man, Jason.
Ivelisse trips the legs. Nice arm drag. Takes Mercedes off her feet. Right back up. Another arm drag. The pace starts to pick up here. Japanese arm drag by Martinez. Drop kick takes the champ off her feet. And once again, neither lady able to gain an extended advantage here. When I saw this match announced, I expected a bit of a tentative start to the matchup for both these ladies. And they've been in the ring with each other on several occasions in the past. And with so much on the line, you'd have to think both these ladies wary of making that first mistake. Because it'll only take one to cost you the matchup against an opponent the caliber that both of these women are standing across the ring from here tonight.
Mercedes with that big boot taking Ivelisse off her feet. Love the physical style of both of these women. They can fight as well as they can wrestle. Ivelisse showing earlier today here at the Auditorium that she can go with the best of them as far as scrapping. Throwing the feet just as well as the hands when needed.
Absolutely. I think if you want to really identify what both of these ladies do well when it comes to that physicality you were talking about. I think you give the strength advantage to Mercedes. I think you give the hard hitting from a hand perspective as far as the chops and the punches to Mercedes. But I think Ivelisse probably has the more educated feet of the two. And Mercedes making all the blood rush to the head of the Shine champ, but unable to put her away right there. And of course, Ivelisse, as I mentioned a couple times this weekend, won that Shine championship back at Shine 16 as she squared off against the first woman to ever win that title, the Radiant Reign. And it was actually that victory by Ivelisse caused Valkyrie to implode, sent Reign into retirement, and saw Serena Deeb take Reigns' place at the helm of Valkyrie in a shocking turn of events that night at the Orpheum in Ybor City. And speaking of the Orpheum in Ybor City, it is going to be Shine 18 on Friday night, April the 18th, right here on WWNLive.com, and you can check out ShineWrestling.com for the latest information on that show. Great counter there by Ivelisse. Taking Martinez off her feet. That's certainly a way to eliminate the strength advantage of a Mercedes Martinez. You take her off her feet, put her chest first to the canvas. Pretty difficult for her to suplex you on your head, drop you on your head with that fisherman buster, or chop you across the chest.
You make a good point. When you ground a talent like this, you obviously gain the advantage, but you take so much of their repertoire away from them. Not to mention inflict incredible amounts of pain. And I like the fact, again, neither one of these ladies afraid to take it to the mat.
No, Ivelisse, well-versed in MMA as well as pro wrestling. And about a year or so ago, she was training to perhaps pique her interest at that time into maybe getting into mixed martial arts. And it was that training that really added a different dimension to her offense as far as her striking game. And there you see it. You talk about the educated feet. She's tacking the hamstrings of the Latina sensation, trying to Charlie horse those muscles up. And there are the right hands by Mercedes. And the chops I talked about as well. Scooped her up and then drove her chest first to the canvas. 2 count. Bryce Remsburg right there.
Mercedes' chances looking really good. Getting her shot here at the Shine Championship. Trying to make the most of that opportunity.
And there you see the two ladies exchanging chops. There's a very different sound on the impact of the blows dished out by each of those women. Mercedes just has heavy hands. And it was clear that she was getting the better of that exchange, although Ivelisse, like we said so many times, not going to back down. If it comes down to a chop exchange or a physical battle throwing hands, she's willing to throw them, although I just don't know if that's the best strategy on her part against a Mercedes Martinez, unless she's using it to set something else up. And right now, Mercedes has got her tied up in the ropes here.
The referee giving her a firm warning, not liking what he's seeing. The savvy ring veteran breaking before the count.
Well, there you go. Clear case of what we talked about earlier about Mercedes being willing to bend the rules. She didn't break the rules. Perfectly within her rights to, continue the offense on her opponent while in the ropes. The rule is you have to break before 5. She made it to 4 each and every time and broke clean. Just walking that fine line between breaking the rules and bending them just a lot. But for that big boot in the corner, nobody home as Ivelisse able to escape. But can she capitalize now as she tries to recuperate? Trying to get fired up, back to her feet. Another hard kick to the chest. That one caught her in the mush. Third time, down goes Martinez. Snapmare, and took her head off. Cover. Only two.
Ivelisse taking control of this match. We know how important that Shine Championship belt is to her, Lenny. She'll do anything it takes to walk out of here as the champion.
Mercedes back to her feet. Blocks that kick. Mercedes with one of her own. Trying to soften her up here. Look at the Fisherman Buster. Ivelisse has it scouted. Go to the rib cage. And Mercedes instead clubbing on the back again, trying to soften her up. It's got her up. Countered into the DDT. Slowly going for the cover. But only two. The fans telling Ivelisse to go up top. Looks like she's going to oblige here. She's got Mercedes in a bad way, but a lot of time to get to the top, and Mercedes may be playing a little opossum, as you like to say.
I think she was. Setting up the Fisherman Buster off the top rope here.
Oh, this could be it. Oh, instead, she's hanging her out to dry. Neck breaker. Very close to the ropes. A great job of ring awareness there by the champ. She was able to grab that bottom rope. Bryce Remsburg right there with a great call, stopping the count. The fans get behind both these ladies. Again, what an evenly fought matchup. Gory special here. Ivelisse trying to free herself. Oh, what a counter! 2.5. It looked like Ivelisse was going for that code red. Her patented finisher. Mercedes dropped down to her knees and almost put her away there.
Thought we were going to have a new champion, Lenny. Pace picking up here in this championship match.
It's got her up. Ivelisse again trying to fight. Knee strikes. Runs her into the buckles. Ivelisse still trying to fight. She got her!
Here's your winner, and still Shine Wrestling Champion, the Huntress, Ivelisse!
Hard-fought victory here for Ivelisse. Another successful defense of the Shine Wrestling Championship. Capping off a very successful weekend here on WWNLive.com. We're checking on Mercedes. who gave it a game effort. Came up just a little bit short here. Nice round of applause for Mercedes Martinez. As Latina Sensation gets a little bit of an assist from Ivelisse and Bryce Remsburg. And another great show of respect between these two amazing athletes here. Johnny Gargano, before we get started, apparently wants the microphone. What is he talking about?
What a touching story, Lenny.
Yeah, except none of it's true.
I had a great night last night, but low-key, you did not.
True.
You lost last night, low-key. You lost. And that's okay, it's okay. You did a good job. It's okay. Everyone had a tough night, and low-key, you would still make a great challenger for my USA Open Freedom Championship. That's why tonight, I am going to give you the honor instead of making a ring with the champ.
Ricochet's in the finals of the tournament.
What we're going to do is we're going to have a one-two title match. The USA Open Freedom Championship is on the line right now.
He is out of his mind. He's lost it.
Willing to defend his title against Loki? Is this guy mad?
It's big of him to offer to defend Ricochet's title against Low-Key.
I guess that does make it a little easier, doesn't it?
I mean, the last 2 years plus of that man's life, he's identified his entire existence with that championship.
I don't know what reality you're living in, but everybody's comfortable this way now. What I'm talking about the fact is, last night you didn't lose, and we don't want to warn you because I don't want to talk in my shoulder. In my reality, different greatly, and that's coming from NXT season's winner.
And we are underway, and Johnny Gargano is about to have whatever reality he is currently residing in perhaps come crashing down around him here. And that may in fact happen.
I'm starting to think that's the case.
No, you're not the champ. I don't know if Johnny Gargano's in Egypt, but he's in denial.
You're on fire tonight, Lenny. I love it.
Low-key backing Gargano into the corner and backing away at the request of Brandon Tolley as they continue to circle one more time here. And I would have to give the strength edge to Low-key here. But Gargano going to try and use some leverage here. Take Low-key off his feet. Nope, not going to do it though. Hanging on to that bridge. Look at the strength in the neck of Low-key. supporting his body weight. Finally, Gargano forces him down, but right back up. Takes away the shoulders. Another near fall. And Gargano was right on a couple of accounts. It was not a great night for Low Ki last night. His return to Dragon Gate USA, where he had been so successful in his first stint before leaving to make his way back to Japan with a lucrative offer, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then stepping away from the sport, focused on other interests, thought he was going to retire, and had an opportunity to come back here this weekend and jumped on it. And fell to defeat last night to Trent Barreta,
who happens to be on fire, let's be honest. We say Low Ki didn't have the best night back here, Dragon Gate USA, but the truth is the guy put on a hell of a performance, barely losing the match to one of the most talented individuals to come along in quite some time, who has everything going right for him right now in Trent Barreta.
And Johnny Gargano has got to be, maybe not on the outside to where everyone else can see it. Internally, he has to be asking himself a ton of questions today after finally having that vice-like grip on the Open the Freedom Gate title that he held around his waist for so long. Broken by Ricochet, the current Open the Dream Gate champion as well. In an absolute classic last night here at Open the Ultimate Gate 2014, up on demand on WWNlive.com. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, see what all the fans are talking about. It may have been the greatest Dragon Gate USA singles match in history last night. 30-plus minutes between two of just the absolute best young wrestlers on the planet today. In addition to that tremendous Chris Hero Masato Tanaka match that folks are raving about. And then the key Trent Barreta match we just spoke about, all part of that tremendous event. Gargano using his feet and grabbing a top wrist lock. Key with a wide base again. Gargano trying to take him off his feet. Again, Key able to bridge. Shoulders down. Looking for Gargano to escape. Doesn't quite have it locked in. Low Ki, good job of scouting clearly there by Low Ki as he was able to escape.
When you're dealing with a ring veteran like Low Ki, I appreciate the effort by Johnny Gargano for even attempting to lock in the Gargano escape. But you're not going to pull something like that off this early in the match with a savvy ring veteran like Low Ki.
Once again, they circle. Looked like Gargano was trying to run, and Ki put a stop to that. What a chop. Oh, vicious uppercut. And again. That one rocked Gargano. Grabs the waistlock. Rolls through. And that kick sent Ki out to the floor. Gargano up and over, Ki back inside. And Gargano may be spitting blood. After that kick to the chest, and he is trying to create some distance between himself and Low Ki. Power drive elbow. Right into a cover, doesn't hook the leg, and only able to get a near fall there.
Still amazes me that Low Ki can take the amount of time that he took off, come back and compete at this level, Lenny. You're in there with the best in the world when you get in with the likes of Johnny Gargano, Trent Barreta. basically the entire roster of Dragon Gate USA and Evolve to come in and compete like this. It's mind-numbing. And we've known Loki's career from basically the beginning. And the guy's always been one of the best of the best. And like I said last night, basically a trailblazer in this business for talents like Johnny Gargano to follow after. The guy's unbelievable, but still, it really blows me away that he's come back. It's like riding a bicycle for a guy like Loki.
Yeah, and he's got a near fall there again, too. Gargano gets the shoulder up, and he's really spent the last year plus really getting himself in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, trying to change, his philosophy on training and learning a new discipline. And that's the one thing about Loki that I've heard over the years. He's never been satisfied with how good he is. He always wants to be better. He always wants to learn more and add new things to his repertoire. And I think we've seen that in his last return here. Plus, he's a little bit older now. I'm sure he doesn't like to admit it, but there are probably some things that he can't do after a decade plus in the sport that he could do as easily as he could when he first started. You have to be able to, pardon the pun, evolve, and change your approach and change your offense. And I think we've seen that over the years from him, that he's been able to reinvent himself on a couple of different occasions here. And we're seeing just basically the next generation, really, of Loki, the next evolution, the next development of him as an athlete. I think he's much more methodical now in his attack than he was in the past. He's definitely, was more explosive, I think, in his earlier part of his career. But now I think he picks and chooses his spots a little more wisely. And I think right here you're seeing a nice counter right there by Gargano. I think Loki may be a better defensive wrestler now than he was when he was younger. And I think that comes with experience.
A lot of times, Lenny, it's not a matter of working harder. Sometimes with the age, you got to work smarter. You've painted a really good picture here of the evolution of Loki. And it is amazing to watch him come there. He's methodically picking apart his opponents. Johnny Gargano showing that he belongs in the ring with Loki, taking it to him right now. Hanging neck breaker, drops the veteran. 1-2. Thought he had him, Lenny.
Yeah, didn't hook the leg, and Loki able to escape. Gargano trapping the arm now. And we've seen Gargano use this effectively in the past, driving the elbow right into the rib cage, and then manipulating the digits. Bending the fingers of Loki back against the grain, almost trying to break each individual finger here, and Loki just writhing in pain, yet still refusing to give it up, and Brandon Tolley asking for the break. Asking the fans, what about the pinky? Well, that's the one that went all the way home.
Like a form of torture, he's biting the pinky. Loki's going to be ready to go home. Any more of this? Give me a break, Gargano. Really impressed with himself. Takes a bow.
I remember a guy used to do a bow like that. Whatever happened to him?
Tiger Chung Lee, I believe he's retired.
I think he married the boss's daughter.
That was more of a curtsy, if I remember correctly.
Gargano now waiting to pounce here. Oh, what a boot right to the face. Nothing fancy about that. Side Russian leg sweep. Another submission predicament for Loki here. Man, listen to those almost guttural screams from Loki.
was in a terrible position right now. Can you imagine the pain being inflicted to just the fact you can even hear those sounds coming from Loki? One of the toughest men to ever get in the squared circle. Johnny Gargano putting him through all kinds of pain, torturing him for a short time, working on the fingers.
Now taking it out to the floor here. Double count applied by Brandon Tolley as Gargano and Low-Ki take the Grand Tour. Face first on the apron. Nothing but steel and wood on the outside of the ring frame there.
After giving him a short tour of the McAlister Auditorium, you're right. Gargano unceremoniously dumping Low-Ki face first on the ring apron. Low-Ki gets back in the ring before the count.
2 count only, says Brandon Tolley, and it has been all Johnny Gargano for the last several minutes here.
He really is dominating the match, which comes as a big surprise to me, Lenny.
Just raking the face with his forearm. Again, just more trying to punish Low-Ki than really do anything that was going to put him away. And that whiplash-like effect on that kick to the back of the head got a near fall.
Gargano, a lot would say, pretty much had a screw loose as it was, but I think the effects of last night's loss, after, like you said, that vice-like grip that he's had on that championship for so long, something's wrong with this guy, man.
Well, I mean, I hate to draw a comparison to a movie, but it was like he was like the Hobbit with that ring. I mean, it was like his precious. He couldn't. Every time you saw him, the way he held it, the way he took pictures with the belt, carried it around the ring, held it to him almost like a child. It actually got a bit unnerving.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a healthy relationship, that's for certain. It's like he pretty much formed a sort of a dependence on the belt, if you will.
Yeah, he was addicted to it. Well, he's clearly going through some withdrawals here as he elbows the shoulder repeatedly of Low-Ki there.
That dependence can ruin you. I know several people myself. I have like a chocoholic, but with alcohol.
Great counter there by Low-Ki and both men showing the effects here.
Low-Ki the first to his feet. Crowd getting behind him.
Hard shot. Boot to the gut. Oh, right to the back of the head. Gargano grabbing his head in pain. Low-Ki off the second, nobody home. Super kick! Cover! So close.
This would be a huge win for either individual, Lenny. Gargano needs the victory. In the beginning of his comeback for his quest to regain the championship, Low-Ki, after his loss last night, suffered to Trent Barreta. Wants to get his career back on the right track with a victory tonight over the former champion.
Gargano got a hold of Low-Ki. Was looking for the Hurt Donut. Got a double stop for his troubles. And a near fall.
There's that explosiveness that you were talking about, Lenny, when it comes to Low-Ki.
Picks his spots, I think, a lot better now than in his younger days in the sport. And again, that's just something that comes with time and experience. I think he's a lot better at conserving his energy offensively and making what he does mean more, if that makes any sense. Nobody home on that double stomp. Slingshot DDT. Again, only 2. Gargano escape. He's got it locked in. Can he make low-key tap out here?
What kind of feather in the cap of Gargano would it be to get a submission victory over the veteran Low-Ki?
He's still refusing to give it up. Inching his way towards the ropes. And makes it.
Still not breaking the hold, and he should have been a disqualification.
Yeah, he used every bit of Brandon Tolley's count and then some. Going right back to the attack here for the full Nelson. Rabbit punch. Oh, what an elbow. I don't know if he caught him in the head or in the throat. That one definitely caught him in the back of the head. Key crusher. It's over, just like that. Here is your winner, the World Warrior, Low-Ki. Well, we talked about how explosive Low-Ki still was at certain points in a matchup. How he was better at picking his spots. And he certainly exploded on Johnny Gargano at just the right time right there. And earned himself a huge victory here. And for Johnny Gargano, another rough night has turned this into a rough weekend. As he gets help to the back, fans with another nice round of applause for your winner, Low-Ki.
Green and Fire the Konley.
And we are underway. The finals of the Trios Tournament. The premier athlete brand of Konley, Nese, and Barreta taking on Fox, Swann, and Ricochet, the Colony, and Lince Dorado. Elimination rules. And it is Nese putting the boots to open the Freedom Gate and open the Dream Gate champion Ricochet. Shoulder block right back up. Ipasso. Head scissors takeover. Fakes him out. This one again under Dragon Gate rules. When one of your partners goes out to the floor, you can exit. And Trent Barreta, the victim of a lot of bad timing, or maybe it's on purpose.
Awesome.
And I think Lince thought he was going to get a high five. He got a boot to the gut instead. Single leg pickup. This one is going to be quick. Up and over the top. Ipasso, Dorado into the ropes. Tilt to whirl. Counter into the arm drag. Nicely done. Sweep of the legs. Covered by Dorado. One count only. Avoids the sweep. Scores with the boot. And in come Fox and Swann. Double team on Dorado. Stereo hip toss. Kip up. Double drop kick. Rock and roll, baby.
Good luck keeping up with the pace of this match. My God.
Yeah, feel free to jump in any time. Reversal of the Green Hand into the corner. Swann charges, nobody home. Hits the buckle. Perhaps the steal. Fireman carry takeover. Slingshot senton. And the Colony looking good here. In comes Caleb Konley. Double boots to the midsection. Set for the ride. Konley into the corner. Here comes Green Hand. Nobody home. Hip toss into his partner went Fire Hand. Northern Light suplex. Released him. Here comes Ricochet. Leg lariat. Nobody there. Single leg through. Try to grapevine the legs. Konley trying to fight. Ricochet finally able to gain control. Green Hand. And Fire Hand. And Fox. And Dorado and Barreta. And Rich Swann. I think that's everybody. Oh, nope. Anthony Nese. Spoil sport. Everybody's grabbing holds. He's in there punching people in the face.
He's ruining all the fun. Everybody wide open, and he comes in clubbering.
Typical New Yorker.
Really impressed with himself, too.
Dude's got like a 14-pack.
He really does. You could wash your socks on his abs, if you chose to do so.
Great kick there by Ricochet. He's getting fired up. He turned his back on Barreta, who turned him inside out with a clothesline. Comes Fire Hand. Tornado DDT. Duck on a clothesline. Wheelbarrow by Konley. Here comes AR Fox. Code breaker. Frog splash. 360 and Zagiri. Duck on the clothesline, rolls up. 2 count. 1 arm gotch lift. Instead of the buckle bomb, he threw him over the top and out to the floor. But he got his back turned. Here comes Green Man. Drop kick from Ricochet. Shooting star press from Dorado.
Thought that was the first elimination, Letty. Sorry, I'm sitting here frozen watching this like a deer in headlights. Can't believe what's going on in front of me. Looks like a 60-man tag match with everybody flying through the air.
Dorado and Green Man, as well as Fire Ant, standing tall here. Trying to fire up. Gonna give a little boost. What the hell? Barreta thrown back in the ring. Headbutt to the midsection. Going downstairs on the Konley. Fighting them both off here. Double super kick. Chikara special. But Caleb Konley breaks it up. Sends both of the ants out. Goes back on the attack on Lince Dorado. These two had a couple of spirited contests in the state of Florida several months ago. Blocking the kick. Reversal of the whip. Handspring, but he caught him in the waist lock. Elbows. Forearm from Konley. Super kick. Reverse Hurricane Rana. Konley placed up top. Lince follows him up. Konley able to block.
The Konley and Lince Dorado have been eliminated.
And we are down to 2 teams. The Premier Athlete brand against Rich Swann, AR Fox, and Ricochet.
The Premier Athlete brand working a much more physical, frankly brutal style than the other teams. But the Konley and Lince Dorado, what an incredible performance. What's going on at ringside?
Ricochet putting his hands on Secretary Sue, much to the dismay of Mr. A and Anthony Nese. Fortunately, Sue able to scurry her pretty little self back to her corner.
There's a lot of guys here I think that would pretty much kill for the opportunity to get their hands on Sue Young.
Fans getting behind Swann here. Crossface by Nese. And another one. And Trent, again, barking from the corner at Rich Swann, trying to get in his head. And Nese, Barreta, and Konley working them over in their corner. Bryce Remsburg tied up with Fox and Ricochet.
Rich Swann paying the price as his partner's wasting the time of the referee, who whose attention should be focused on Rich Swann, who's being punished. Premier athlete brand proving that that is exactly what they are, the premier athletes here in Dragon Gate, USA.
And in fairness, that's not really the fault of Bryce Remsburg. He sees two guys coming into the ring. It's his job to get them out. So that's what he was doing. But unfortunately for Rich Swann, it caused the opportunity for the Premier Athlete brand to continue to beat on him in the opposite corner behind Bryce Remsburg's back.
You're exactly right. It's not the referee's fault. I firmly blame the partners of Rich Swann. They know better.
Swann with a slap to Anthony Nese. But it's Barreta with an uppercut. Oh, laces right across the eyes of Rich Swann. Oh, apparently it was Velcro. I apologize.
Ask him how it feels. Not really sure he's looking for an answer, but once again, getting in the head of Rich Swann. Been chomping at the bit for the opportunity to put the boots, some punishment on Rich Swann. Trent Barreta seems to have a serious personal problem with Rich Swann. Lighten him up, and look at that cocky smile on the face of Barreta.
Follow Swann up here. Trying to fight. Oh, what a slap. Swann to the top. And he paid the price right there. Drop kick by Barreta. As Swann came off the top looking for a splash. I think right there Swann would have been better served just getting out of the ring and allowing one of his partners to enter. You don't need to make a tag there. If you're out of the ring, your partner can enter. And I think Swann I think after taking so much punishment, just didn't realize where he was at the time. Adrenaline going on instinct alone there. Came off the top, and it maybe cost his team a little bit right there.
What is his instinct to compete? The last thing that goes through the mind of somebody like Rich Swann is to bail when he has the opportunity. It's instinct. You put it out there already. He has the opportunity to inflict some punishment onto the opponent. That's exactly what he's going to do. And right now, he's paying the price for that mentality.
And Swann now crawling across the ring to try to get to the corner and pick himself back up. Barreta with a head of steam, nobody home. And Swann again charged the corner. And this time explodes on Barreta. Makes the tag to Ricochet. In comes Anthony Nese. Oh, bad timing there by Konley. Set for the ride. Ricochet with the elbow. And another. Clothesline. And another. The champ's on fire here.
One-man wrecking crew in Ricochet. Taking out both Nese and Konley.
And comes Fox. Baseball slide. Puts his body on the line. Ricochet on the top rope, a long way away. Here comes Nese. Nobody home. Boot from Nese. Ricochet puts on the brakes. Nese through the middle. Pump handle. Into the powerbomb for a near fall, but Fox breaks it up. Fox elevated on the apron. Enziguri. That one wobbles Nese. The outside in with the ace crusher.
Fox hooks the leg. Almost had him. Referee right there as always. Price on the spot.
Trent Barreta Hard forearms after he made that save. Now going after Fox. Nobody home. Tornado DDT. Handspring ace crusher by Swann. Cover. Konley with the save. Swann was in the lights. Came down on the back of his head, and Ricochet makes the save. Looking for the Regalplex. Konley blocks. Northern Light suplex. Nope, no bridge. Floats over. Muscles him up. Brainbuster.
Look at the strength on Ricochet.
Super kick by Barreta. He's got Ricochet. Looking for the Dude Buster. Fox with a boot turns it into a code red instead. Yeah, that rhymes. Bennett Driller. Standing 450. 450 from the heavens. No. Konley on Fox. To the face. Fox places him up top, and Zagiri. Romaine Pain. Boot to the back of the head. It's over. The Premier Athlete brand pick up the victory in the Dragon Gate 6-man to close out close out Mercury Rising 2014. Man, it's been a long weekend for me. And Su Yung unceremoniously removing Bryce Remsburg from the equation. And Trent Barreta saying, bring in anybody you want, I'll beat his face off too. Well, fans, we cannot thank you enough for joining us here this weekend on the World Wrestling Network for all of these great events. As part of the WWN Live experience, we remind you that Shine 18 will be back here on WWN Live Friday night, April the 18th. And we do remind you that the World Wrestling Network will be back as part of the WrestleMania weekend next year from Santa Clara, California. And there'll be a lot going on between then and now, to be sure. For all the latest on Dragon Gate USA, you can check out DGUSA.tv and everything here on the World Wrestling Network at WWNLive.com. For everybody here this weekend, especially the hardcore giant Ron Nemi, fans, I'm Lenny Leonard. Good night, everybody.